Dear friends and dear members of the Salesian family, Mingalawa, may I send you the cordial greetings of the members of the Salesian family of Myanmar. Here in Myanmar, the Salesian family is made up of 5 different groups. The Salesians of Don Bosco, Daughters of Mary Helper Christians, Missionary Sisters of Mary Helper Christians, and 2 groups of the past pupils, one of the Salesians and the other of the Daughters of Mary Helper Christians. The oldest among us is the Salesians of Don Bosco. They are 83 years old and are working in 7 different communities. And the Daughters of Mary Helper Christians are 28 years old and they are working in 5 communities. The youngest among us is the Missionary Sisters of Mary Helper Christians. They are just 4 years old and working in 2 communities. Dear friends, may I present to you the situation of our country under military coup by using a few video clips, and I hope they will explain you better what is going on in our country.
So to get a better understanding of what is actually going on, you need to know a bit about Myanmar's complicated history with democracy and the fact that this isn't the first time that the military seized power. Myanmar, or as it was known back then, Burma, spent 124 years under British rule. In the years after World War II, the country finally gained its independence as the Union of Burma. Unfortunately, there was unrest and fighting between the many different ethnic and cultural groups that make up the country, and in 1962, the military staged a coup, scrapped Burma's constitution, and created a military junta. What followed was a one-party state, headed by the BSPP. It wasn't until 1988 that the BSPP had its power truly challenged by a nationwide protest movement. Started by students, the movement spread to hundreds of thousands of protesters, and Aung San Suu Kyi emerged as a leading voice. However, within a few months, the protests were crushed, thousands of people were killed, and the military once again seized power. Aung San Suu Kyi was placed under house arrest, where she remained for 15 years. During that time, though, she still did continue to push for change, with her political party, the National League for Democracy, eventually earning a Nobel Peace Prize in 1991. It wasn't until the late 2000s that the military announced it was going to start moving towards a more democratic system of government. However, the 2010 election was surrounded by accusations of interference and fraud. The election was actually boycotted by Aung San Suu Kyi's NLD, and perhaps unsurprisingly, the military was replaced by a pro-military party called the USDP. It wasn't until 2015 that Myanmar actually held its first free and open elections, and the NLD won in a landslide. The constitution actually blocked Aung San Suu Kyi from becoming president because she has kids who are citizens of another country, so she had to settle for the title of state councillor, but was still recognised by pretty much everyone as Myanmar's actual leader. However, even with such a big share of the vote, the NLD still had to deal with the military having a lot of political power. The military only agreed to share power because the new constitution guaranteed that they'd keep control over lots of key areas. Plus, they would also be guaranteed 25% of the seats in parliament, no matter what. For years now, Aung San Suu Kyi has been talking about removing the military from parliament and taking away their political power. Winning by such a huge margin in the election put her and the NLD closer to that goal than ever before. The military says that the country's elections, held in last November, were rigged, and that there were signs of terrible fraud, even though they haven't been able to produce any credible evidence. Many aren't buying it, and say this is just a power grab by the military.
Soon after the coup, hundreds and thousands of people went on the streets in protest against the military coup. Their peaceful and non-violent protests were responded with brutal crush. Young people realized that it is no use shouting to the deaf ears. So they went to the ethnic armed groups to get military training to fight against the army. And now most of them have returned to the different parts of the country, and they are waging war in defense of the people because they call themselves as People's Defense Force. And every day we hear the atrocities of war, the death of young people, the villages, towns and cities burned down, Thousands of refugees have to escape to the jungle. The country at present is in the state of war. So many people are in great difficulties. Dear friends, please continue to pray for us, especially for our young people who are risking their lives to get back their future. Thank you for all the help and support we have been receiving from you. May God bless us all, and thank you.